looks like we have Whitebeard versus Enel.
Yep, the clap back for Enel. Let's see if we can get some redemption.
Whitebeard, crazy.
Whitebeard.
I thought this deck was gone.
In 2024, everybody.
Yeah. I thought that this deck was dead and gone. The Titan that this deck was from sets 1 to 4, 1 to 3.5.
Way too long.
Yeah. Or I guess not 1. It didn't come out until set 2. But
it definitely was not fun playing yellow against that for a long time. But we're going to see if yellow can stand a chance here now in OP number 5.
number 5.
How do you feel this matchup's going to go?
My goodness, I have no idea. So, I've never seen this matchup ever. I haven't seen Whitebeard much at all lately. So any of the new leaders into Whitebeard is just complete uncharted territory.
So I do know that there's a couple of new cards that Whitebeard has to use in its arsenal compared to the past.
What am I seeing in that hand?
Straw hats are what we're going to see most of the time nowadays. You know, they've got the new 6-drop Sanji from ST10.
I think I saw 5 rush cards.
Zoro, Sanji, Luffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of options here. I've even seen some people play the 10-drop Luffy, which is a little crazy in my opinion, but hey, if it wins you the game, it wins you the game. But
just playing 20 rush cards.
Now more than ever, Whitebeard is an aggro deck.
Yeah.
Kind of before where it was a little bit more like, hey, I'm going to establish all these big bodies that
Marc.
Absolutely.
Looks like we're getting started with Whitebeard on the play.
Immediately claps it in horizontal into the Nami.
Yeah.
So Enel has a couple of cool things it can do here. I think one of the biggest cards that it's going to have in its arsenal is going to be that Ohm. Being able to get down to 2 life and maintain a big board state of a bunch of Ohms is going to be somewhat helpful, especially if you're able to establish the other body.
Another Zoro.
Another rusher.
Yeah. And taking the life as per Whitebeard rules.
I think what Goblin's idea here is I'm just going to dish out a ton of dudes, and hopefully they're going to start sticking and just be able to get a lot of damage at Enel as fast as possible, to the point where they're not going to have a chance to retaliate.
Yeah.
Like, let's win before 9 drop.
And Katakuri is definitely...
Looks like we're going to see a Thunderbolt on the Nami. Acceptable.
That's
we
fine.
Always take that. 5 it
sideways. Katakuri is definitely better than Enel into Whitebeard, is that correct?
Well, I don't think so.
The leader is better, but the deck is worse? Because, like, the 10 moms do nothing,
Trigger
right?
Sanji. We'll take it.
Wow, yeah.
But no, I feel that Enel's a lot better, especially when they go for the winning attack and you can just kind of retain that life. You know, a lot of the times it's really difficult for Yellow to overcome the onslaught of dudes that Whitebeard just kind of has, especially when you can't swing into them efficiently.
Sure.
But
I'm just thinking as the 7K Katakuri being able to not care about donning up naturally and forcing 2Ks out. And
historically, it was always just a really bad matchup.
Sure.
Yellow just always struggled against Whitebeard. You can't swing into it effectively. You can't play your curve. So it always was just, you don't get value out of the trashing of the life. There's a 6-drop Sanji. It looks like we see the 2K Sanji and the 2K promo Luffy in the hand
I saw
well.
that, yeah.
Always like seeing that card come around.
Card's great.
Makes me worth the $5 I invested in them a long time ago.
Well, there you go. The card's really good. It's just you don't see very many people playing it because it's hard to get.
Opting to protect the Zoro here for 2 neutral swings. Into the Ohm. The Ohm is a huge card here. It's already 6K.
Yep.
Let's see if we're able to see the Holy. And looks
it's
like
right
he
there.
does.
Doggo. Doggo to hand. Doggo into play.
So now we just have a board tempo swing here that's really beneficial for Enel. Can it stay on the board, and does Goblin care is really what this comes down to.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, Dawn on the floor. That's okay.
Everybody walk the dinosaur. Sorry.
Did he Dawn up enough? I think he should be at 5, right?
Yeah. Yep.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the Straw Hat Dawn.
Yeah, I was going to say the crazy Dawn spread there of...
Opting to go for a 6 swing into leader, draining all the 2Ks. I think this is correct. You want to get all the 2Ks out of the hand now so we can't use them later.
Interesting seeing that card I didn't see him pitch it earlier.
I don't even know what it's called.
Yeah, so it's the girl from Skypiea. I know what she does.
Yeah. She's a 2K that does absolutely nothing. So.
Well, it's a 2K that
another life taken.
You can bottom deck your one-cost stage.
Yep. And you draw a card, I believe.
Yeah.
I've seen some play it at 3. Another Zoro.
Yeah.
So the onslaught of 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. It's really hard to deal with.
If you are familiar with mono red and Magic, that's what we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
It's just crazy aggression
Did he
to the
opt not
face.
to swing?
Surely not. Wow.
He opted not to swing.
Okay.
I think he values the body on the board, especially with the hand that he has.
I guess
he's
you
got a couple
do-
2Ks in the Sanji.
You want to set up against Enel to just have one turn of onslaught.
Get around the one life. Yep, I agree.
So that makes sense. Both players just having a capricious Dawn setup.
Can we talk about how Enel's at 6 Dawn and he has 1 life left?
Zoro, Whitebeard. Yeah, when the Whitebeard deck has more life than you going into turn 3, it's kind of scary.
But, I mean, it does make sense. You know, a lot of the decks, especially the top 3 contenders we talked about before in our rock, paper, scissors format,
Yep.
they just have a lot of clunk. There's a lot of non-counter, really good bodies that they try and shotgun out as fast as possible. Enel, Yamato, Seven Mom, Amaru, Thunderbolt, Thor, all these cards that really just don't accomplish anything. But I do like him seeing swinging at the board here. I think it's really important that he maintains the board state to keep the number of attacks down.
And not attacking with the Zoro did not pay off.
He does rest it and able to remove it quite quickly. So 3 Dawn left. I think I'd like to see an 8K swing here.
Just 3 Dawn on an L attack pass.
Playing Holy's kind of pointless, unless he has maybe like a Brule. He could have L Thor as well, which has some value.
Sure.
But his opponent's at 3 life, so I think the 8K swing would have been a little bit better. L Thor is a 2K. I guess if he doesn't have a 2K, he took the life anyway.
Well,
so
now it's now it's a 4K.
Yeah, Goblin just wants as many cards and resources as possible in his hand.
Yeah, that's the name of the Whitebeard game.
He's going to 7 Dawn here. We're probably going to see a 7K swing or a 6K swing, 6K swing with the other Sanji.
He gets to Whitebeard next turn. Oh, he has Ace. Does Ace do a lot here?
If he's trying to clear the board, yes. But I think valuing the counter of the events is really important here, especially when he's got 3 bodies on the board, one of them being a 6K.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's really got to clear that Ohm off the board. I think that's kind of like the biggest threat. So Ohm being a 4K here, 7 into 4.
Yep.
Going to be a heavy commitment to try and remove it.
Can Elthor target characters?
Elthor can target characters, but Goblin has 2 life, which I think is enough for the 9K.
That's enough. So if he has Elthor here, that's just a rough attack.
Does have the option to block with Sanji as well, but I think you just safely play the Thor. Get the counterless card out of your hand that requires Dawn commitment. Well, it looks like
Maybe he doesn't have
go
it,
for.
unless we saw it.
I guess Sanji's a bigger body as well. Opts to pitch 8. Yep, so he goes for the bigger body since the Ohm was down to a 3K.
Yeah.
All right, so we see the reset here for Enel. A little bit scary for Goblin here. Just the ace on the board defending him. 1 life left. No Dawn active, meaning no Rad Beam, no guard point.
He has at least, so I only saw it for a quick second. I did see a Machina and an Otama in hand, so he does have 2Ks lined up.
Yep, he definitely has a Sanji, I believe I saw too. A 2K Sanji, and he has
and
that
Luffy. The promo Luffy.
So he's got at least 8K of counter in his hand. I don't think he cares about taking this last life. He wants to get 1 more card because he's going to take it next turn anyways.
Right.
Unless we see the new gate.
If I were Josh
I
here...
don't see new gate in his hand.
I did see it last turn. He does have the new gate.
Okay.
Which I guess then gives merit to not taking a life, right?
So we see 8 Dawn here. Are we going to see the Katakuri?
Katakuri ace into life.
I think that's valuable.
Oh.
Goes for the trash. I don't hate this play. The regaining of the life is very, very good for Enel here.
Right.
He's effectively Yamatoing here without removal, which is just fine. kind of goes around all that counter. And Goblin has a big decision here.
You just trash life, right?
I want to say yes, but with the board state as is, that 8K body is huge.
Oh yeah, it's certainly. Oh yep.
Lets him gain a life. Values that last life there. With this in mind, he can do 2 more swings. We've got the 6K with Ohm, and we've got 1 more Dawn open. Does he want to save it for the Thor?
Do you 7 with Ohm, or do you... Nope.
No, I think just getting as many cards out as possible is correct here. Turning the least amount of characters sideways as possible as well. Pitches a 2K for a 1K body is definitely always good for the attacker. And this is Newgate turn. Let's see if he does have the ability to go in and maybe set up some blockers to kind of stop that Big Mom from attacking. The Newgate is also a very good play to really put a damper on the damage output that Enel can do.
Yep, go up to an 8K leader on their turn.
Does have the Newgate and the 5-drop Rush Luffy, so it can get around that Sanji if he's able to stick it.
All right, there it is.
8K
targeting
leader.
His leader.
Also really important to note that if he does have the Otama in hand, he could always remove it with the Newgate, remove that Sanji for being a 3K or less. But that is another heavy Dawn commitment that I don't know if he wants to commit. Opts to take this hit.
Goes for face and not to the Ohm.
Triggers a Shirahoshi. Big card here. Drawing 3, discarding 2 completely useless cards. Looks like his hand was really low too.
Thunderbolt, Searcher, and
T-Bolt is
Sanji?
100% the discard every time. Unless you're going to win the next turn, which I don't think is going to happen.
And the Cracker.
Yeah,
the
Cracker
was
not really having any worth here.
Sanji.
Doesn't attack with the ace. I think getting that card out of hand was too valuable. But I think swinging into the Ohm was correct.
Yeah, I
even if you get a
think...
2K out of the hand, it's very powerful and it's very good to have that gone.
And like worst case scenario, or I guess there's no downside to that really, right?
No, I mean, 2 turns ago we talked about how Enel was at 6 Dawn and he was already at 1 life, but here we are at 10 Dawn and it looks like Enel is
still at 1 life?
Clearly ahead. That 1 life being there, I think in this turn you just kind of want to say Yamato pass, right? Because you really just don't want to have your opponent take that last life. If he swings 8, it's more than likely going to be a quick keep or a quick take. I don't really see much happening other than that.
Okay. So it is interesting that Yamato would just be gain 1 life. It's a non-decision 7 mom at that point, right? But
yeah, the other option he could go for here is to really commit a lot of these attacks to drain as many 2Ks out of his hand as possible. Since there's no Dawn up, it's really good for him to capitalize on not being able to use those Rad Beams and guard points.
Interesting that he is preemptively donning everything.
Maybe thinking everything out beforehand. Swing 9K, drains a 2K.
Yep.
Gets rid of the Makino. I think it's the least useful here.
Yeah, definitely want to save the Otama just in case.
He's got 4 Dawn active. Maybe has another Sanji he could set up to try and get around all these attacks. But I do think this is Enel's game to win.
Yeah, it looks rough, but so that is 7, 8, 9. Another 2K. He gets rid of the Otama. So no more 2Ks?
Yeah, another 8 at life. Did he get rid of the Luffy?
He got rid of the Luffy, I believe, last turn.
Take it. No more counter in hand, so this is, hey, you need to win the game right now or this game is over.
Yeah.
If he sets up another blocker, I think that kind of secures his victory. Because
what are the chances that she just 4 on Doggo?
He does have the 5-drop Luffy in hand, I forgot about as well.
Yeah, so obviously we have more information than the players right now, but I'm pretty sure if you just 4 Dons Holly, he wins right here.
Yeah, that is... does he have any counter at all? What did he take off life? That's what I didn't see.
I already don't remember. I know he has 3 events in hand and a Rush Luffy.
I don't hate this, but I do think the defensive play is a little bit
it's
more...
safer.
Yeah.
I get it.
Without the knowledge we have, I think that's the safest play.
Absolutely. 5 cards is a scary amount of cards.
So here, I think you just kind of set up a lot of swings. You go 7, 7, 10. Maybe start with the 10. Let's see if the 10 hits one of the blockers.
He drew his Zoro for turn. That's 4 Zoros, I think.
So we're going to start with a big swing here with 7. That's going to drain at least 2 cards out of the hand. He only has 3 in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he could pull this off, depending on the counter value in hand. I think that's an ohm we see there all the way to the right. Kind of contemplating if he's going to take this one or counter.
Looks like I'm just getting brief flashes. I can't.
Opts to get rid of the blocker.
Okay.
I do like this.
Yeah.
Playing around the 5-drop Luffy.
Definitely.
Eating the attack. I think this is another one you block. Snap
Yep.
block.
And that's probably all she wrote if he blocks here with Sanji.
So if he does land the
Well, I shouldn't say
leader,
that.
Luffy, and Zoro swing, then it's possible. So Zoro would be 5, go 7 with leader, 7 with Luffy.
Zoro
Opts to take it.
Okay.
I think that was a Katakuri 8-drop. Gonna use the leader skill.
Leader skill discarding the Searcher,
Really? Okay.
which I can never remember its name.
Shura.
Shura.
Yep, 7k with leader. I like this a lot.
Oh. Wait a second.
Does still have the blocker here. Goblin thinking about what he's going to do with his Dawn. Is he going to swing 6 or 7?
Changing his mind.
Does he want to keep the 1 Dawn open in the event that he doesn't win this turn, or does he want to go for game? I think you have to go for game. What's stopping an 18k swing with Big Mom?
If you let Enel activate his leader effect, you have to go for game that turn, right? Otherwise, you're just putting yourself way behind.
Yeah, it's really brutal at that point.
All right. So, in what world does Josh take it here?
Yeah, block is correct.
Yep.
So now the 5-drop Luffy loses a little bit of its value. I think we're going to see a quick snaps
Rush.
5k into lead with the Zoro. If this hits, he wins. If it doesn't, I think that's just all she wrote. Can he afford to commit another Dawn?
Is it better to attack 6/6 or 5/7? Probably 6/6, right? With how few cards are in hand.
Opts to go for the 6k.
Yeah.
He's got a big hand.
Oh, there
Does
it
have
goes.
2 gone. And Goblin's face kind of says it all. He's like,
Yeah,
all right,
well.
that's kind of all she wrote. So now I think we're just going to start setting up some things to maybe survive. Has another Zoro.
I told you, 4
All right.
Zoros.
And then he's going to keep the 2 open for the...
He does get to
Takes-
0.
Takes a life because I think he just goes 18. Go ahead, bud.
True. Yeah.
Almost a 6k body.
Yeah. 18, 5, 5, 6.
So Rad Beam gets you to 10. Guard Point gets you to 13.
And then
He'd have to have
even
3 more
even all
2Ks.
2Ks.
Yeah, that's going to be really difficult.
Yeah.
I think you just snap 10 Dawn on that Big Mom and you go in.
I guess Goblin is hoping for a world that his opponent overthinks, which happens.
But to Goblin's efforts, he really did everything he could, right? He saw
Yeah.
almost every rusher possible in his deck. I think we saw 4 Zoro, 1 Luffy, 2 Sanji.
2
He pitched them
Sanji.
both for counter.
Yep.
The Ace. So I think he
Gosh,
saw
yeah.
everything he really wanted to see in terms of aggro. And, in Enel's favor, he just kind of hit what he needed. The heavy blockers, he just hit it all.
Starting off very carefully.
Pitches a 2K.
This
it works.
is a world.
3 cards
that-
in hand. That should be a snap. Just get, or maybe not. Going for 10. So that's going to drain the Rad Beam.
Yeah.
He just says, that's all we got
Yep.
here. So Josh K is going to be our winner with the Enel. I think Enel, based off of the performance there, kind of flipped the script a little bit. Red really seemed to struggle, even
Yeah.
when the most optimal rush curve they had.